right. Welcome, everyone. To the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Volran?
Here.
Mr. Blanton?
Here.
Mr. Robinson?
Here. All right, I need a motion for the acceptance of the minutes of February 19th, 2025, and the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. I will make a motion for the acceptance of the minutes of the February 19th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Trustees.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Volran?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
The motion for the acceptance of the minutes for March 5th, 2025, regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. I make a motion for the acceptance of the minutes of March 5th, 2025, regular meeting of the Board of Trustees.
I will second.
Mr. Volran?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Also need a motion for the acceptance of the minute for March 11th, 2025, the special meeting of the Board of Trustees. I make a motion for the acceptance of the minute for March 11th, 2025, special meeting of the Board of Trustees.
I will second.
Mr. Volran?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Also, can I get a motion for the acceptance of the invoices for the month?
I will make a motion that we accept the invoices as presented by the fiscal officer. Yes.
Second.
Mr. Volran? Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Okay, we have some special guests, recognition of the Boy Scouts in attendance who are here to earn a portion of their citizenship and community badge. Mark, would you like to come up and say your words? Nothing like putting you on the spot.
We do have a few of the scouts that are coming a little bit late, so hopefully they won't disrupt anybody as they come in. But the guys are working on citizenship in the community merit badge. And one of the things that they need to do is attend a community meeting and talk about some of the issues that were discussed and their thoughts were whether they agree with what was decided or not. So it's a neat experience for them. While I'm here, I just want to say thank you to everybody for supporting the Boy Scout troop here. We appreciate having a place to meet and being a part of the local community.
Awesome.
Thank you. And welcome to all the scouts.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we got more than a ride, right?
Yes, the guys are busy. They're coming from one activity to the next. So we appreciate them being able to make it.
Okay, so
Hopefully they won't cause any disruption on the way in for us.
all right, we'll go straight to the sheriff's report, LT.
Good evening, Lieutenant Governor, County Sheriff, Patrol District 1. Here to present the stats for last month. So Miami Township had a total of 240 runs. 198 of those were dispatch details. 44 of those were self-initiated or non-billable details. As far as service exchange, there was 90 times that Miami Township cars were requested outside of Miami Township. They were actually arrived or went 58 times, 32 they were disregarded en route. Same time, 180 times county cars from outside of Miami Township were requested inside. 89 times they were sent, 91 times they were disregarded or otherwise. 17 criminal reports and 7 non-criminal reports and 5 auto accidents last month. As a side, probably the last 2 meetings I mentioned that CIS, our detective section, was following up on some, we had a number of car break-ins in the area. This week, actually yesterday morning, bright and early, they hit a house and made some couple of requests, retrieving stolen property and whatnot. They also got information on a couple more subjects that they're working on the city with, but the city is also looking at them for some other so they are still working those and making headway. Any questions?
Any questions for the board? Day to day?
Yeah, that was separate from that, but that was something happened up here on Bridgetown that they had to, they did notify us and hopefully, Sergeant Carney was in contact so that we wouldn't get too much of a panic. There's always something going on with different divisions, whether it's renew traffic, whatnot, they're always in and about, but sometimes it, as we did a big, hit on the city yesterday for that, so there was a hit up here for some other incidents.
That was an isolated incident from what I understand, and that shouldn't be any reason for the public deal, which I think is the most important thing. Yes.
All right, any more questions for the lieutenant? All right, that's it, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, we'll go straight to the administrator's report, Mr. Brett.
Good evening, everyone. Going to start off with the Jordan Road water line project. We're actually getting very close to being able to put that project out for bid. Abercrombie and Associates has worked with the county engineer's office to see how they suggest that we cross Jordan Creek. We're now waiting to have a discussion with Please Waterworks to be sure that Eric Quinn Hughes and the water superintendent is satisfied with the plans. Although we have an agreement with Please Waterworks, was never reduced to writing. But we did have an agreement. I expect that we can finalize that with the waterworks sometime in the near future. We also had some preliminary talks with the Hamilton County Engineer's Office about the possibility of them following us with our project and resurfacing Jordan Road, which would be a blessing because that road's in really bad shape. So new water line, new customers for Please Waterworks, and new roadway. That'll be a win-win for everybody. We talked about alerting Hamilton County last month, and I talked to Nick Crosley from the Hamilton County MMA, who came out and did a presentation at the Please Safety Committee meeting. Nick is out of town, so he couldn't be here today, but he will be here April 16th to fill you guys in on that. Also, because springtime is really a busy time for the Emergency Management Agency, I took the liberty of inviting the Whitewater Township trustees to come here just to hear his presentation to try to save him a trip. I'm hoping that we can get them over here so that he doesn't have to make 2 trips. So because Whitewater's, yes, April 16th. A little bit about building security. At the last meeting, we talked about 2 different vandalism acts that took place on township property, one at Station 69 and one here at the administration building. If you remember, we were looking at new security cameras last year. And we talked with the sales rep, and he said he would watch for any specials that may come up. And you don't have to do anything with this tonight. I'm bringing it up so you know that it'll be on the agenda sometime in the future. At this time, they have some funding that can help assist with the installation of the cameras and the cost. And they also are willing to offer 0% financing on those. We would like to stretch the payments out over time. So that's an option. I know we don't normally finance things, but if they're charging 0% and we're making 4.5%, it makes sense to do that. So I have more information for you to kind of refresh your memories on how many cameras were here. And while we have that lower rate and no interest, I'll get a list of all the buildings, what it would take to do all those, and a price for that for you, and we can consider that. The other nice thing about this financing package is if we just do this building now, like we talked about, and then a year from now we decide to do the rest of the buildings, we can wrap those cameras into the financing package for the remaining years. So anyway, so you'll have more information. I just wanted to put that on your radar. Our upgraded AV system for here, the components are ordered. Kim Day is setting up the new YouTube channel so that we'll be able to put that on our website. And ideally, we should be able to at least broadcast that live while we're here. We won't take questions or anything from the audience because we're just not going to have enough people for that. But so if someone wanted to be here and couldn't, they'll be able to watch it live, or they'll be able to go on to the YouTube channel and watch launch anytime in the future. Transient vendor permits, we run into that in the springtime quite a bit. Our IDs have been updated so that they will actually have a picture of the person who is supposed to be allowed to be doing the canvassing of the area. It'll have an expiration date on it. And we've also asked Mr. Ewing, our legal counsel, if he could take a look at our transient vendor resolution and see if there's any new language or anything we need to add to that. So he's got that and working on that for us. I don't see Mr. Beck, but I wish he was here because we finally have finished the first project on Bridgetown Road with our nuisance inspector at Lyndon Schmidt. It's unfortunately been out of town due to a funeral, but when he gets back, which is sometime this week, he and Cindy and I will be getting together and we'll be placing the lien on the property for the work that we did. Next week, we'll be holding a department directors meeting. We're going to get together with all our departments. The focus on this meeting will be safety. I'm working with Lieutenant Dunnigan from the fire department because the fire department inspects all buildings in the township twice a year. So, but he's looking at fire things. I want to look at maintenance items and things like that. So he gave me his inspection sheet. I have an inspection sheet of my own, and I'm going to combine the two. I'm going to ask our department directors to look around their building and take some notes so we know what to look for. And then he and I will, when he goes to do his inspections, I'll go with him. We'll look at all the buildings for safety and fire and maintenance items and things. So we may get Wayne to go with us too on that. So Wayne and I were talking about the maintenance items out here, this building today. So we've never done a safety review of our buildings, and I think that's important to do. So we're gonna hit that hard in the next 30 days. So I think we have good news on our contracts for fire service with the villages. I've been in contact with Village North Bend, and I think we have a good start there. Village of Addison met last Saturday, and Lisa Meir, the mayor, sent me a text last night asking me a couple questions. And the Village of Cleves is represented tonight by Justin Hayvig, their administrator, and Rob Merkel, their solicitor, and the mayor, Chuck Burkholz. So we're going to be discussing their contract in executive session later on this evening. Hopefully we agree on that, and we're done with those, and we put those to bed. That's all I have for right now.
All right, thank you, Jim.
Can I ask, as far as number one, Jordan Road water line, I know that we talked about that at length with a lot of residents here that typically show up on a regular basis. So we've done pretty much everything that we can do to this point. Is that correct? We're just kind of waiting to figure out a deal with please records.
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
So Eric Winmusen, for those of you who don't know him, has over 40 or 45 years of experience. I think he has a class 5 water operator's license. So his input on how we cross that creek and the placement of the water line is you just can't find anybody with his experience. So we want to make sure that he's happy with everything that we'll be giving them because they're going to end up being the final owner.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. So, public presentations, anybody want public requests to be on the agenda? I don't think there is any. If anybody would like to address the board, you're welcome to come up and stand at the podium and state your name, and we can go from there. Yes, sir.
My name is Anthony Patrick. I live off of East Miami for my whole life. As of right now, East Miami is in such disarray over the condition of the road. And it's actually got to the point where it is unsafe. I know we have a lot of truck traffic down there with Watson and however you want to pronounce it, Algier or Algar, Algier. Anyway, we're meeting trucks in the middle of the road because they cannot be off on the sides in their lane. The sides of the road just broke down so bad, you could pitch a truck whenever they're coming up through there. In East Miami, we haven't heard anything on it. We do get patches that get put in, but the road just broke down so bad that it is getting to be very unsafe. And I would say this summer, we will have a bad accident down there because people can't even stay in their lanes. Anybody, if one of you gentlemen go down there and just drive down East Miami, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You can't stay in your lane because it'll pitch you whenever you get on the edges. And it's like that, especially from the firehouse to East Miami. It's probably the worst that way. Of course, it gets most of the truck traffic. And I do know Watson and Algar down there, they do pay road tax stickers on all their fuel. So I'm hoping some of that can be pulled back to take care of that road because it is in, like I said, it's very unsafe.
I think there's a plan by the county, Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, but the county from the Queens Corporation line to redo it all the way up to, Green Township. Is that not correct?
That's correct. I'm not sure what timeline it is, but, since we're working with them on Jordan, I will ask them what the timeline is on that.
We can ask them. They've been talking to us about it for the last couple of years, so I know it's in the works, it's in the plans, we don't have a year. Hopefully it's next year, the following year at the latest.
Hopefully it's this year, because like I said, it is very unsafe.
I would say it's not, I'm just not guessing, but I doubt it would be this year, and they would have told us about it. But I know I've received emails about it, we've talked about it with the engineers department. Fred Slim, we talked to him about it. Fred works for the engineering department. He's the one project manager of all the other project managers. But I know they have talked about it and they're wanting to do that, work on that road and get it redone.
So we kind of had word that last year that it was going to be from the firehouse to Cleves as that half. So I guess that really wasn't true. And then now we're seeing that the Park District is also going to be redoing the river bottoms and turning it into more of a, where more friendly for the people to use. Is that not true?
They're putting in the canoe kayak.
Okay.
The county is the
The Blue Wave Trail plan.
Okay, so, and then also with, this summer, all of Edgewater, which is, they haul them big car haulers down through there. And you're meeting people in the middle of the road. They can't get off on the side and stay in the lane. So hopefully, if it's anything possible, something there's got to be done on that road. I mean, it's been a very long time since that road's been fixed.
If you want to reach out to me, Brett, you can reach out to me too. We'll get in touch with the engineers and see what the plan is. Like I said, they brought it up a year or two ago to us and that it was definitely going to be done in the next 2 to 3 years. So we'll see exactly where it's at and let you know.
All right, I appreciate that very much.
We were talking to, at the conclusion of your station 69 specifically. I believe there was, like you said, there was some of that. There were some water lines and some issues that they ran into that they had to fix, kind of going under the road there, and that kind of, from what I recall, that delayed things. But yes, we're happy to reach back out and check with it.
Appreciate that very much. I guess they're going to do some water line work also on the new project down there for Park because we've got it all marked up. Went all the way down to the field.
And typically, they won't, obviously, they're in the business of not doing it, and then 9 months later. So that's part of all that what the county engineer will coordinate and look at and take into consideration if they're going to repave a road or widen the road or whatever else. If they have a water.
The last time that I remember anything being done on the park, whenever they came through there and gravelled it. And literally sprayed it with tar and gravel. That was a mess.
Probably should seal this, but
Yes. Yes. But, I appreciate it very much if you guys would do that.
we will, we'll follow.
Because it's very unsafe. Thank you very much.
Just as a note about that, the county engineer, and the Hamilton County Township Association have an annual meeting. And so most likely all of us here will be at that event. That's Thursday, April 24th. So that's a good time to hobnob with all the project managers and tell them about our needs and get in front of them. So,
All right, thanks, Joey. All right, any more from the public? Mr. Moreland?
My name's Mr. Moreline. I'm from Gumroad Road. I got a couple things I'd like to address. For one, what Cody just brought up about East Miami River. With my experience on that, the biggest concern is between Gumroad and the Colerain Township line. That's where the trucks are really having a hard time because I travel it every day. I do believe there will be a serious accident there. When it is, it's going to be bad because Watson's coming out of there with 20 to 25, 30 tons in the truck. And anybody with common sense can see they can't control it. They're doing everything they can. The second thing is, I noticed that Jim brought up and you brought up the Jordan Road Water Project again, and it's up for bid. Up for bid is the plan, correct?
so we're once we have our meeting with Cleves, the plans will be prepared to put them out to bid to contractors to actually give us quotes on doing the project.
So basically, you got a general idea where the main's going to lay. The biggest concern is the creek crossing. Once you and the gentleman from Cleves determine where you're going to cross the creek, how you're going to cross the creek, we're real close to sending this out for construction bid, correct?
The engineer's that close.
We have to get approval in the place.
From Cleves, and I'm sure they're been looking at this, so I don't see a big delay there. And the third thing is, I noticed at the other meeting I was here earlier, 2 weeks ago, at the 3 o'clock meeting, we had a discussion on the park. And Mike Anderson brought up the cost of the parks and this, that, and the other, and we all want the parks. Most people do anyway. But he was concerned about the cost of the parks. What you brought up, it kind of concerned me. We're into the Beck June Park at Buffalo Ridge, what we're gonna call it. It sounds to me like we're in a cost overrun, correctly? Am I correct with that?
I don't know. He brought that price up. I don't know that to be factual at all. So you have to ask Mr.
So I'm assuming you did your due diligence and you feel as a trustee that the township is over the contractor's estimated bid.
So I've been doing a lot of research and I went back and I think it was in October or November of 23 in the minutes, and it said specifically, I asked Trustee Glenn if what the overall cost would be, and he estimated it would be 350 to 500,000. And I don't know for sure, but I think we're somewhere in the 900-ish more.
How do we figure that
That was
out?
a-
That's the thing.
Well, I've been working with Mr. Brett and our administration to.
That's probably what we're looking at right now.
I mean, that sounds like a 50% increase. But when I look back at the minutes, I thought Alpha was the lowest bidder at 550 something. I look back at that.
It's just Alpha. And then
That was just Alpha. So then we had playground equipment, which was an additional 30 something that we kind of went to a better playground equipment for that one.
and elevators better.
And then something to do with the turf. The turf is 170 some thousand. Anyway, my numbers come up to 865 grand. I'm in that area. But what I'm getting at is if we're over 900,000, and that happens, I understand that. But who approves the overrun? Is that Jim's job to say, hey, let's go ahead? Because I attend all these meetings and I have never once heard anyone say, we're running over budget. Let's vote on it. Someone here, I'm assuming,
three trustees or Mr. Brett has the authority to say, okay, let's move ahead, we gotta finish this project. And when we do that, I honestly feel the public should be aware. We went over.
That's what I was trying to do last night. Is to
And
sound the
if
alarm
it's
and let
true
people
that
know.
we went over, I think the public should be aware. I really honestly do. Do you agree or disagree?
And I appreciate you bringing that up, and that's
It's
why I
fine,
was
they can
frustrated
vote.
that we're having that discussion at a Wednesday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon meeting, and I think it's great to come talk about this tonight.
I don't think it's an overrun in this part, but I think it's where we upgraded on the playground equipment and turf and some other things that drove up the cost. Am I not correct about that?
All these items, I think it's what Mr. Robinson was saying before. All these items have come up individually. So what I'm trying to do, and Ms. Day is helping me, is we put some boards up in the trustees office that have the plans and have the current costs, where we're at in total. Because it's very easy for them, Darren Becker comes in and says, playground equipment's gonna be this much money. Then they come back and they say, well, excavation's gonna be this much money. And it's before they had me as somebody to be responsible for keeping track of that, it was difficult for them to keep up with what all they had spent. So we fixed that, so it's gonna be readily available in their office, so they can see it every time they walk in. They can pick up a folder, look and see where they're at money-wise on the project, and have a better idea. So I think it's my responsibility to keep them informed of where we're at with the project costs.
So basically, the bids came back a lot higher than what Bear and Beck
What they thought,
proposed 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I understand that. That sounds, I was under the assumption the contractors gave you a bid and you were paying them more than what the bid was. But the engineer's estimate 3 years ago was 3 or 4, whatever we're saying, or 5.
No, it was a year and a half.
A year and a half ago. I don't remember 3 years ago. But anyway, we're double. But what scares me is here, we do a $3 million park down at West Park. In addition, are we going to be 4, 4.5, or 5?
This is
I mean,
exactly what I was
this
trying
is
to
just
say.
me as we got to have some pretty close hard numbers. I can see where people could go over. But I was a contractor for years. When you went over, I did a job, we lost. We went over. No one handed me any. And I'm just assuming we're not just handing contractors money. Not at all. Clarifying that now, we're going on an old engineer's estimate of a year and a half ago. That's not that old, but we're up to 900,000.
Basically, with Mr. Brett, in my opinion, I'll clarify, in my opinion, Mr. Brett is doing a much better job, and I've been working with him this day on trying to do exactly what you're saying and track this so that we do have a good idea of the overall costs, that are associated with these projects. Like he explained, it was each individual proposal and bid was dealt with separately, but no one had to do a picture. And that's what has scared me, and that's what I was again trying to do, is sound the alarm and let the public know last meeting. And I'm glad we're doing it tonight again, because we do need to be fiscally conservative and aware of where our finances are, especially with the challenges that we face right now with the levy and potentially again the unknown of that. So
Did we get any grants towards that?
What I'm sorry, real quick, this one,
I'm done. I mean, I just was waiting for his reply. I appreciate you letting me speak up here, and I don't mean to put thorns in people's sides, but just questions that I felt it's fair to ask. All right, thanks a lot.
appreciate it.
Okay, Mr. Williams,
Yeah, we got grants, right, for some of them.
we got a $42,000 we just ordered out of our county planning and development. So it's a beautiful park, and I think it's well worth it to put it in the community. So I'm looking forward to it when we do the other meeting. Anyone else from the public? All right, we'll go to our township departments, fire department, Chief Matt Schumer.
Evening, Chairman, Fire Chief. For the month of February, we responded to 188 fire and EMS incidents. Did several fire prevention activities, did 13.5 hours of training. Of the 188 incidents, 48% of those were overlapping. 8 responses we gave mutual aid 9 times and received it 7 times. We responded into Greendale for 2-alarm fire at the jump wire on the road building. All the crews did a great job there. We had a 2-day Ohio Fire Academy course that finished up in February. The Ohio Fire Academy comes down. That's a no-charge bus to the department. We hosted it. There was several other departments around that attended that with us. That was great. Showing for everyone. We had tryouts out for EAP training and the Ohio Fire Academy Fire Safety Educator course was also completed. We got a commendation from Mercy West Hospital for a very sick patient that was transported there that was unconscious, ended up going into cardiac arrest during transport. We got him back. And from my understanding, as of earlier today, they were still alive. So they reached out and gave our crew the commendation. I would like to bring them in, and give them a certificate at some point. Get all that squared away, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention. We got some new airway devices. We are now able to conduct CPR self-relief training. We've ordered some supplies to be able to do that for the public, so if anything's in the ambulance, I can do stuff as soon as that comes in. We'll be posting that on our website and making that available to anybody who wants. So if there's any questions, yeah.
All right, any questions from the public?
We got our point back. We'll have it back tomorrow.
All right, any questions for the board? All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, Senior Center, Mrs. Herbert.
Activities for the senior center in the month of February. We had a representative from Trilogy Health Services come to our birthday Friday, and they provided lunch and dessert and coffee for us. And it was wonderful. These facilities love to do things like that, you know, promote their place. But it's nice because they cook, and I don't have to, so it's very nice. So I love it when they come. Let's see, Rob Lowe finally. I've been talking about this for months. He did his signing and presentation on Tucumcari with love. So memories, photographs of his years at Coney Island earlier. Members went to a van outing to the Candle Lab. So that was kind of interesting. They chose scents from 100 different scents, I guess, and chose what they liked and made their own candles. So that was fun. The senior center is now offering a beginner ceramics class twice a month, first and third Thursday of the month. So that's something new that we're on. Friday the 13th was our first tax day for the seniors. AARP comes and offers free tax help for the seniors. And that was actually here. And Carrie helped a lot with that, with the setup and thing now. She had the hard job. I had the easy job of just scheduling appointments and doing all the paperwork. So thank you, Carrie, for your help on that. Looking ahead, March 28th at 2 o'clock, Cincinnati Playhouse is coming to the senior center. We're partnering with the library with this. We're going to do a performance, Alice in the 100 Acre Woods, the 28th at 2 o'clock at the senior center. And last, once again, I'm so proud to say this, we were awarded the Clean Kitchen Award for Hamilton County Public Schools. So they come multiple times through the year, surprise inspections, and so we again got that award. I think that's all I have.
All right, any questions for Mrs. Herbert? All right, any questions for the board? Good job, great job. I
Thank
think
you.
how many years tonight in a row?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I've been here 15, so at least 15. Yeah.
So that's awesome, really awesome, good job.
Good, appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, maintenance department, Mr. Miller. Anyway,
I'm Wayne Miller at the maintenance department. Glad winter's over. Yeah, I'm on wood. I should have said.
so we-
Yeah, we did. In February, we had two snow callouts. Went on those and replaced some more signs. We got caught up replacing the faded sign in the township. West Community Park did flood. It wasn't real bad. We got it cleaned up. Cut down some dead trees. And the water is on the park for the bathrooms. Drinking cup. The sprinkler will be later. The bathrooms are on. At the shop, we just got our trucks cleaned, changed the oil in all of them, got the salt off of them. Been doing potholes from this winter, the ones we can do. And the community center here, we're starting to cut down the dead trees when we can, dropping those. And yeah, on the senior center handicap ramp.
Yes.
Got it taken care of. But the cemetery, that's where we will probably be for the next couple months. We got a lot of graves to take down, seed, fertilize. We're painting the signs, painting posts, trimming the trees, pouring foundations. We have 4 barrels last month. And the gates of the cemetery will start to be closed from 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening for the public, and the gates will be closed. But it's an automatic gate being locked in there, you can pull up to it.
They'll be open for
For the public, yeah.
the public,
Yep.
and they'll close it.
Yep.
You want to talk about scoreboards? So
Yeah, we put a line,
we
ran
did
a
a
line
great
for the
job on that.
scoreboard. Yeah, we ran a line for the scoreboard, hardwired it, it's up and running.
And so what happened was with, it was, wireless, ran by Wi-Fi, wireless, and it only worked half the time. So ordered cable, Wayne and the crew dug a trench, put in conduit, ran it all the way from the scoreboard all the way to the dugout, mounted on the wall, looks great. Great job.
Any questions?
There is one quick thing. You know, there was some vandalism
Yes, there was.
at the cemetery, so just so if there was no, there were a bunch of,
Government markers, the World War I mound, they were taken off the property. We made a police report and they checked all the junkyards. It's where they can pull right up next to them and take them. And, Dennis, Andrew George actually got a hold of VA, we got the names, the sissy company, but they're replacing for free. But that's why the gates are up, and we did talk about maybe some cameras or something, so. Just to see, but they're going around right by the edges.
Do appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Any other questions?
When you stop that, you could let me know, we can do a sound.
Okay, that'd be nice. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a pitching mail delivered. Was that approved here? Is it
I
expenditure?
think it was from last, came one delivered a few months ago, and the damage is replaced it. I think the company did.
Yeah.
The one we received, when you unloaded. The wrap.
Yeah. That's when I found out how bad a shape their bobcat was in. Too much to lift, but like the bobcat. Yeah, I had to actually call, and say, how do you get this thing to start? Because it's not running pull here, push there, hold your jaw right. So, but we do have, our new bobcat is in.
It'll be in, yes.
And we got the trade-in price on the old Bobcat, and, I first told him to take it to him right away, and then I thought, wait a minute, wait till we get the new one, because we want to get the check to them. Because they're giving us $23,000 for the old Bobcat. And, that's probably $10,000 for it, and for it. So, again, a great trade-in price, I'm glad we went.
So did we approve that, or was that just done? Not something that needed to be approved?
it was something that we approved. I told, Mr. Rutgard in First City, it's just a replacement that was part of the area we have in the government. All right, thank you, Wayne.
Thank you, thank you. That's all you do.
All right, facilities, Mrs. Roberts.
Good evening, I'm Carrie Rivers, the event manager here in Miami Township. It's been a busy few months on top of our regular events, our regular events that we hold in all of our facilities, dance, Kiwanis, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, Three Rivers Women's Club, Senior Chorus, Leeds Presbyterian Church. And then the past 8 weeks, we have had a We Thrive initiative. It's been a cooking class at Town Hall. So those events are on top of all of our rentals. So currently, right now for 2025, we have 136 rentals booked. In 2026, we have 26 booked. In our 3 slowest months of the year, January, February, and March, I tallied the total number of guests that will come through the doors. That is 4,755 guests in our 3 slowest months. Just March 7th, 8th, and 9th, we partnered with Queen City High Railers to bring the largest train display ever to come to the west side. And it was pretty exciting. The train guys, as I call them, the train guys, they lost count at 1,300 guests. I think that other than trains being so universal, I mean, we had 2-year-olds and 90-year-olds here who just absolutely love it. But we had sent invites out to several HOAs, all schools in our area, parochial and public, including all of Oak Hills District. I sent notices to Cleves, Addison, and North Bend. It was in our newsletter on Facebook. I sent it to Karen, to the library, and of course on our website. So I think that attributed to so many guests coming through the weekend, and the train guys were so excited. They've actually been in touch with me this week, and we have dates set up for next year already. So we're excited about that. Looking ahead, on April 12th, we have our Easter extravaganza. It's always a huge event here. That will be from 10 to 11:30 on April 12th. I hand delivered on Monday all of our sponsor letters to our faithful business sponsors, and we already had 2 checks come in this week. Then just save the date for our drug take-back day on April 26th. That will be a drive-through through the Fire Bay, with the Hamilton County Sheriff's and the Fire Department helping out with that. Thank you for getting that all set up for us. And then Shred Day on May 3rd. And just a reminder, it's residential Shred Day. Do not bring all the documents from your attorney's office like you did. And that will be from 9 to 12 in the parking lot. That's it.
Any questions for Mrs. Roberts? Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for your efforts on the train.
No problem.
Getting an event off the ground from scratch is no small.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Great job.
All right, Clark, Mr. Clark is not present. Do you have anything?
No, other than the guys did a great job of getting the wire in, the scoreboard will work.
Yeah, I've been down there quite a few times, so they've been working hard. He's been getting all the fields ready to go for the season. Taylor had a scrimmage game last night down there, so everything's looking really good. And then I know Andy Messer with Rivers Athletic Association has been helping out, and the park looks really good. So, all right, we will go to new business, Mr. Brett.
Old business was our contract update, but I think we covered that pretty much. So new business actually have 2 items. One was kind of a late addition. The item that was on your agenda was the property and casualty insurance for this year. Our renewal date is next week, and it's been a while since we checked pricing for that. So last year, the company we've been with, Karma, which is part of the Ohio Township Association, raised their deductible from $1,000 to $5,000, and also raised the amount of their auto deduction. So we priced it with the Ohio plan, And, most of you probably know Mike, or Mark, the micro Mark Huntrider. He's a longtime trustee and serves on their board now, of the Ohio Plan. So, Mike, yeah, so there's a township representation on the Ohio Plan Board, and, they specialize in insurance for government as well. So, the cost difference is about $27,000 less. The deductible for them is $1,000 instead of $5,000. The one difference, and I didn't know what this was, and I put it in some information that I sent to you. The town hall is considered a historical building, and under our old policy, it was covered under the blanket. Under the new policy, it'll be covered as a historical building, and that means that they will do their best to match what's there if it's partially damaged. And they will spend up to our policy limit on that. So where the other policy would just repair it, they actually will spend the extra money to try to match trim, match exterior things. I thought that was a nice addition, but I didn't know what it was. I had to call and actually find that out. So given the cost savings and the deductible, I would recommend that we move to the Ohio Plan. The cost for that in an apples to apples bid, because I had them bid exactly what we had through Karma, is $97,976. I do want to make you all aware that we were probably woefully underinsured on some of our equipment. As a matter of fact, Chief Schuman went through and upgraded the values on some of the fire equipment. So while they're $30,000 in round numbers cheaper, when we get done getting to where we should be, and we can decide how much of that we might want to self-insure, how much of it we want to have them cover 100% of. I don't expect to see a full $30,000 savings, but maybe another half of that or a little more. But we do need here's a for instance, what's a striker cost? 80, 90,000?
With installation around 50 total.
50. So the cot itself is not insured because it's not part of the vehicle. The mounting kit that bolts to the vehicle is insured in our current policy, but the cot's not. And it's not current what they used to be. They're a lot nicer. But that was just one example of something I found as I was looking through. So that would be my recommendation, that we make that change this year.
When do we need to make that by?
We actually need to decide that tonight. I sent that to you as a separate email.
I don't have any more time. You got it? That's something I need to say something.
We don't have it in writing, but I can print it for you. When I say I can print it, I mean Tim.
Now you're making a recommendation, you're telling me what you're making a recommendation of. I know we want to switch services, correct?
That we,
And it's gonna save us money.
From Toronto to Ohio.
Okay.
so, and the base amount that we'll be switching for is $97,976. And then we'll be looking at the values as we move forward.
97,000 what?
$976.
And we're switching to who is this?
The Ohio Plan.
I didn't see the email, nor do I have it in my packet.
I didn't, it's 50 pages long, that's why it's not in your packet. So that's why it says like.
All right, any discussion from the board?
Yeah, so I read through it and I want to, Mr. Brett, I mean, this is right up another thing of, instead of just kind of renewing the same thing year after year after year, to go through the exercise and see whether we're getting the best bang for our buck. And so sometimes that might play out and we might say that we're doing great just how we are, but other times the result is this, which is that we're going to see a significant savings. And so thank you for doing that due diligence, and I wholeheartedly support making the transition to the other.
No, I did look at your point. It is a lot of work, and a lot of comparison, and a lot of.
Well, it's a large savings, and I will say, we've had no issues with the people that we deal with at Oklahoma. They've been great. If the Ohio plan, the agent that we work with, I would give you a 98% chance if I called her cell phone right now, she would answer. They're very good too. So, so it's not necessarily about the quality of service. It's about the price and the deductible. When they raised that deductible, and I'm not sure how anybody got notified, but we found out when we had the sewer backup at the senior center last year. They said to probably Megan at that time, said, well, it's a good thing that this happened now, because if it happened next month, the deductible would be $5,000. Yeah. And so,
Did you get a chance to look at it?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm fine with it.
we talked about it, and
Right.
like I say, from a financial standpoint, it makes perfect sense. But you also, with insurance, I always say, if you don't know insurance, I don't think anybody in this room are experts on insurance. You darn well better know your agent. Tim is probably the closest thing we have to a property and casualty insurance person. Don't you have that certification?
I do.
So we do have an expert in the room.
We didn't like the 5,000, and they didn't tell us. We
Yeah,
felt
I
that,
totally agree.
yeah,
I can't believe it. So.
and that's what got him going, and
All right,
I
so we
would
got,
price that, every couple of years anyway, just,
right with the.
yeah, I totally agree.
yeah, or if there's a large jump, in price, we'll price it. There's a couple other places out there.
All right. So we got a recommendation by Mr. Brad and Mrs. Dozier, I believe. And so do we have a motion from the board?
Sure, I'll make a motion that we switch carriers from Otarma to the Ohio plan with an initial cost of $97,976.
And a second?
All right, Mr. Volrath,
Yeah.
Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
The next item that didn't make your agenda page, but we have a renewal for the Hamilton County Stormwater District for 2026. That should be in your packet. It's a one-page item. I don't have the previous year to compare that to because I wasn't here for that. But it's,
Is that what the township pays? Or is this the residents?
that's what this goes on the tax bills for the residents.
Oh, okay, so this is just,
Yeah, we don't pay that, but we do have to approve the number.
right,
And we do.
So that-
We did it last year.
right,
Yeah,
yeah,
we
sure we do.
do it every year.
Yeah. So, the estimated cost for the service per resident is $15.14.
So estimated service fee, right?
Yes,
And estimated total annual service fee, right?
That's
the-
all the-
that's everyone in the township, that's what they collect from everyone.
All right, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and approve the county stormwater's, level service estimated service fees for 2026.
Second.
All right, Mr. Volrath,
Yeah.
Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
That is. Oh. The Paracon contract, this is something that, Mr. Moreline brought up. Last meeting, we approved, contract for Bear Becker, but, there's a whole list of items that aren't included in that. And the geotechnical work at the park is not included in their project because they don't do that. They recommended Paracon because we've worked with them before, and they've worked with them. The total, and this is one of the, this is how these little things happen. Let me do this for Barry's sake. At one point in here, the subsurface exploration and everything cost is $18,200, but then at the very end, on the last page, there's a machine site clearing fee of $2,800. So when you get to the very end, total contract is $21,000, not $18,200. So those are the kind of things that you have to really read these because they're very good at. And it's not just Terracon, it's everybody that does this work is good at sliding in that little last thing at the end. So that all of a sudden it's 10% more, actually about 14% more. So the total cost for this, and this is something that we have to do to continue.
So we can move forward.
Yeah.
All right. All right, any discussion from the board?
Yes. Is this something that we would put out for bid? Like when we did Whispering Farms, I thought we put this out for bid and got a couple of bids, and they were doing the geotech soil testing, the slippage there.
We did.
Okay. And but is there a reason why we're not?
We've used them before, and Bear and Becker, I believe, tell me if I'm correct, but I just found out about this, that they're recommending them so we can move forward on the project, right?
Yes.
We've used it before, we used it at West Park, we used them at Whispering Farm, and I think we used them at, back in June.
Yeah. Kind of very good one.
So we've used them, and Bear and Becker's been happy with them, when it comes to the township, we've been happy with them since we've used them. So that's why, we move forward with it.
Well, again, I appreciate that, and I know that Bear Becker's pleased with them, we're pleased with them, but I still think it's in our best interest whenever we can to put things out for bid and that are larger, like this, larger expenditure. And I know you guys are in a rush, but for me, I made a statement last meeting that I wasn't going to support any large expenditure that wasn't related to public safety, roads, or the township operations. And I don't consider this to be public safety related roads or township operations. So I think that while I'm hopeful that we're going to pass the levy this May, and I stated this last meeting, we have the elephant in the room is the unknown of what's going to happen with the village of Addiston. And I think that it is, we need to give ourselves the best chance we possibly can, whether it passes or not, to not confuse the public with any big expenditures for recreation or parks. I said this the last meeting, I love parks, my kids love parks, we go there almost every weekend, but I just don't think that this is the time. So I would encourage us to hold off until at least after the May primary and hope that we also have a little better indication of what's going to pass.
We're trying to put this out at the end of May for public bid. So what Ms. Rivers is referring to, the fire levy pays for fire services to the township and the village, or no, just the township. The TIP fund, what this comes out of, we pay on we buy our vehicles with, we buy our fire trucks with, we build our parks, we build West Park with TIP money. We built Pat and June Park down East Miami with TIP money. So they're totally two separate funds. And whether the fire levy passes or not, we have to move forward on our park because we're paying for it out of TIP. It's two separate funds. And I believe that our residents know the difference in that. That they know the difference between the fire levy fund and the TIP fund. And that's how I feel about it. Do you have anything to say?
I would say, there's been a lot of planning on this park, and I think what we found, to your point earlier, is ultimately we continue to wait on stuff, the cost of
Motion that we go ahead and approve Caricon for the technical engineering services of $21,000 even. I'll second.
Mr. Wolverine,
No.
Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson,
No.
All right, anything, last chance for the public, anything else from the public? All right, I'll make a motion, we go to executive session.
Can I make a couple of quick comments before we leave?
Yeah.
Just to promote a few things. One, I want to thank Mr. Brett and Ms. Day on the newsletter. I think that this is probably our best newsletter we've ever had. And I met with to the printer, I think on Friday or if not Monday morning, and that should be hitting the mail here soon. And so watch out in the mailboxes because it's got a lot of great information on fire levy, on upcoming events, and I think it's a great resource that you can put up on the fridge or do whatever and see what's coming up. We did have a land use open house. Actually, all the members of the board here attended. The county reps estimated there were about 15 or 20 folks that showed up for that. And we got some good feedback, including from the members of the board. So I got an email from him today or yesterday or today. And the land use committee is going to be making a recommendation to the board to adopt a new 5-year plan. So stay tuned. I think we should have that for our next meeting, hopefully. Let's see. Miss Rovers mentioned there's 4,000 some folks coming through the doors here. I attended the Taylor, as did Trustee Blanton, the Taylor Boosters reverse ramp on Saturday, and I think we had 1,000 people there. It was packed, and it was great to see all these events coming through. There's a packed meeting tomorrow, and we're hosting it here, a luncheon, and I'd love to see the community partner going on there. So some of our local businesses are going to attend there. And I want to make sure that we continue to push our 2 ambassador meetings. One is April the 3rd at 6 p.m. and the other one is April the 26th at 10 a.m. It's purposefully on a Thursday night and a Saturday morning so that some folks, it's easier for them to get out on a weekday. It's better to get out on a weekend. So we are really doing a full court press of trying. This has been a priority of mine since the beginning. If you go to our website now and check it out compared to 9 months ago, it is night and day. And again, the administration has done a fantastic job. If you look at the newsletter, we're doing a much, much better job. If you look at social media, we're doing a better job. We're trying to reach out to the public for these ambassador meetings and make sure that we're transparent and informing folks. This has been a priority of mine, and I think the board is all on the same page as well. So, pay attention because we're trying our very best to get information. That's all.
Ms. Osher? All right, I'll make a motion to go into executive session, conference with public bodies attorney concerning pending or imminent court action, violation June 3 of section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Court action is pending if the suit has been commenced. Court action is imminent if it is on the court or impending. So I'll make that a motion.
I will second.
All right, Mr. Wolverine, Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
All right, we're back from executive session. Can I get a motion to go into regular session?
I'll make a motion, come back into regular session.
Second.
All right, Mr. Wolverine,
Yes.
Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
That was at 9:15.
You were saying we need
Yeah,
to.
now we're,
All right.
now
roll
we're
call-
back in.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Wolverine,
Here.
Mr. Blanton,
Here.
Mr. Robinson.
Here.
All right, any other business for the board?
I have done.
No, sir.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Will second.
All right, Mr. Wolverine,
Yes.
Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Michael.